We were just kind of doing some quick little reviews. So one of the cool things that we've done is we have bounced all around. Have you guys heard us talk about anything that has been out of the ordinary or like crazy accounting type stuff? We're basically just doing operations, are we not? And because we know where certain of those pieces are, just like that game of golf, okay, as long as you're playing in certain directions, we already know where some of these pieces are and we can map to it, okay? We also lightly talked about you have to get it in a block of time. Something has to happen to it, okay? Whether it's just a history or a state or a status, you stick it into a little block of time, and this is the date, okay? Then once we want our financials, we kind of pull out a little bit, like, okay, where are you? It's virtually like kind of rising yourself up to almost a helicopter level of looking like what's going on in my bigger picture, okay? Just today alone, if we click on our history report, we have done a bunch of things. We have one invoice that we've created. This was our $24 for our reoccurring, okay? It's down here in a bunch of different little places. I have one payment. Okay, we have not deposited this payment. So currently, in my balance sheet, I would actually have accounts receivables for $24.95 that's saying invoice payments not yet deposited because it hasn't really hit my bank yet. The bank knows nothing about that $24. They're doing their own transactions with all the different merchants and such. But inside of my bank, I need to still remember that little piece of the puzzle. Okay? We did one PO. We brought in a whole bunch of bowling balls. Okay? We did mark it paid. This was a different one. Look how this is $451 versus $491. Okay? If I wanted to, I could actually click on this. Oh, it was that little guy. Remember that older one from 12? Because we paid a partial and a full when we were paying off those POs. Basically, it's gathering up all of these different 2 PO payments worth $600. Let's check it out. 51 and 48. We did 149 and 451. I can get right back to those pieces if I wanted to, okay? Which would then show me additional like information and what is this 451? Well, let's see. Wow, quite a few things, okay? Looks like they got some grips and some different little bags and all kinds of stuff, okay? Like a little chalk bag. Okay? Basically, this is where you start playing that law of deference. Oh, 13 bowling balls, okay? So if you're looking at your daily stuff and you see stuff, it may not make a whole lot of sense. $600, it's just a value, okay? Accounting sometimes wants to know your total, bigger, summed up picture. Like, I'm not worried about the details, just tell me the totals. But those details are so important. That is part of your story. That is a huge part of your story, okay? So I'm just popping down through here. Oh, look, we printed one check for $600. These are things that are automatically showing up for roll call. What happened in my block of time today, okay? We have a couple scans that happened. We have, looks like I currently have 39 customers that are in there. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, okay? So like, there's a bunch of different ways that you can kind of play this game. You can even come into the thing and say, what else, what did I, as my own user, affect? This is historical versus effectual, okay? And here's the difference. If you go show height search criteria, effectual is what shows up for roll call, okay? Historical is who touched something, okay? Who touched what? Who did some sort of an action? And then this one here is under construction, but this will be awesome. This will actually show, okay, let me show you the mapping that's going on behind the scenes, because we already have all that data. We just haven't produced a report that shows that perfect little mapping, like the cause and effects.
Oh, it would kind of say like the assets went up by this much and the inventory went down by that much. Is that with the financial?
Yeah, it would kind of show like what happens. Oh, this went up. Oh, this went down. This went up. Like, because we still have to simulate some of those pieces. Those are banks require. If you want a loan, guess what they want? Can I get your financials? They will ask for the traditional 500-year-old balance sheet income statement. And so we have to still kind of play along some of those lines. But technically what we're doing is we're trying to say, wow, can I show you where we want to go with this thing that would be really, really cool? Okay, if we were looking at this historical report right here, and you can see how it shows all of the different pieces of the puzzle, imagine if you were actually able to go like this. I'm trying to even think how best to describe that. So imagine rows and columns, okay, like this. Say, for instance, you had revenue, and then all the different little pieces of the revenue that went up or down. Then you had your cost of goods and what happened. And then we broke it into specific dates. Like, how did these values change over time, okay? So the financial one, so my revenue, I just sold a monthly subscription. It would show $24 on this one particular date, okay? And then maybe later on I sold a couple more of those. Yep. Or maybe I sold some more bowling balls, but it would start categorizing it in the revenue portion coming across this way. So this is not the report right here, okay? But basically what it would do is imagine almost a spreadsheet type view of looking at what happens over time. We're going to probably run time either linear or, I'm not sure if we're going to go vertical or horizontal, but I would imagine kind of a horizontal, so it's like each day what's happening, and you'll be able to tell exactly where your pieces are and how they're mapped. But if you wanted to, you could click on that $24, and it would then say, oh, that $24 is this. Oh, that is this. Like, I'm going to provide you all of those details and information. That's a futuristic one, but what we're going to do is basically call it a financial. How does it affect? Your financials are actually relatively simple. There's basically 6 different spots where we can stick something that are in those financials. So we'd have 6 different categories. I'm going to go to the home page real quick and jump into maintenance and to that financial flow. Here's your 6 primary pieces, okay? I'll outline them right now. Revenue, cost of goods, expenses, assets, liabilities, equity. These other pieces are calculations, okay? That's a calculation, that's a calculation. And your balance sheet, once you get all of this, that's a calculation. These are your 6 pieces that you play with, okay? So imagine if you had a report that was like this: revenue, cost of goods, expenses, assets, liabilities, equity, and then it was divided by dates, okay? Then you had different values coming across this way. So you could read across your revenue and be like, oh, cool. What is that? Click. Like, it's going to tell you how did that affect those different pieces of the puzzle. Because it might sound like it's really complicated, but when it finally ends up, you have to stick it into about 6 different categories. Okay? So that's where I would potentially see the thing. And then you could expand it to different views. So say you had all of the 6 just showing up right here, but what if you expanded this one and you're like, hey, I just want to see revenue. You could break it down into its little subs. Oh, this was from my monthly recurring, this was from my bowling balls, this was from my bags, this was from my this. Like we could expand it however you wanted to see it, but it would still kind of have to run some sort of thing a long time going in that direction. So